the stuff that you had started learning before being welcomed into this inner circle, was it a little bit different than some of the stuff? Whereas, like, maybe you didn't get the full scope of information beforehand, and now you're seeing, or was it just an extension of that? Like, it maybe new insight, new rituals, or different approaches? Like, what was the difference in what you observed?
Oh, it was night and day. I mean, just night and day. Before apprenticeship, I was allowed to sort of maybe peer in through like a little crack in the door of what was going on.
Yeah.
And I got to participate and observe. But the night that they took me into apprenticeship, something beyond any experience I had ever had before that actually occurred. So we drank ayahuasca, and it's usually the onset somewhere between 20, 30 minutes. And there's kind of a pretty habitual pattern that starts to form. There's different feelings in the body, temperature changes and stuff like that. And then, kind of pixelation starts, and then these sacred geometric patterns form around us. And, they become multi-D. Only that night, instead of kind of all that happening, I just immediately appeared in the first vision in this tunnel, and this tunnel sucked me into it with a force that I couldn't resist. And so it was like a tractor beam out of sci-fi, or like a swirling whirlpool that just like literally sucked me into it. I was in this tunnel of light. It closed off into a point of black. It took a while to get through it, and it was excruciatingly painful. I thought I was dying, and I thought I was going to pass out, both at the same time. Everything went black for an indeterminate period of time. It literally could have been seconds or longer. I have no way to know. And when the light came back, I was in my chair, and I was in a suspended state of another kind of psychic phenomena, where the two maestros, or master shamans, who are teaching me were now like in a shared state of psyche with me, and I could hear them inside my mind, one inhabiting the left side of me and one inhabiting the right side of me here. And I thought this was, some kind of like, extrasensory perception that was happening, but not something that, was shared. And so I thought to myself, to test it, to ask Julio, the Grand Elder, who was sitting next to me, for a mapacho, a jungle tobacco. And so I asked him for a smoke, and he literally, in my head, not verbally, I think to myself, Julio, can you pass me a mapacho? And he reaches into his pocket and goes, ha, 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 and he hands it to me. And that's when I realized this had started, and nothing like that had ever happened before. And then training really began. It started in a very, really successive progress and progression of basic skills, and those basic skills, being added to, and really gaining the comfort of the visionary arts to be able to be comfortable in your body in the ceremonies, comfortable with the energies that everyone else has that are, obviously representing different kinds of afflictions that are coming out of them, comfortable with the intensity of it, which at first is blinding and makes you think like you're going to pass out or die pretty much every time. You have to ultimately become strong enough in that space to be comfortable. Just learning how to live in the forest and being trained in the arts of the forest as much as the visionary arts, because they go hand in hand. Because every time you're going to heal somebody, you have to, first figure out and diagnose what the problem is, and then what kind of plants they need. Then you need to be able to navigate the forest to be able to find those plants, collect the plants accordingly, prepare the different medicines for them, whether it's a tincture or a tea or a poultice, et cetera, or something that they're going to eat. So you have to be able to do all of that. So you learn to actually just fully be embraced by the forest and live with harmony within nature. And then, the